Hello, check. Okay, we're back with another video again. Just want to say thank you to Oz Fragrances, pretty much the website where I get a lot of my samples from. Always helpful. They always have a great range and they're always getting new fragrances in all the time, so I can't help but spend some money, check out some of these new fragrances they get in. With that said, I got some exciting fragrances this video to review. I think in the last video I reviewed like Torino, Givenchy, Society, a few hyped fragrances. So this video will kind of follow same kind of thing. We'll review Gisada Ambassador first, and then I got like Akro Bake, and some other interesting fragrances in the box. So we'll start off with Gisada Ambassador. Come on. And I will just say I've smelt pretty much every single one in this packet except for one now. That is Akro Bake, just because I wanted to save at least one fragrance for this video that I haven't tried. It'll be my first impressions. But yeah, I like to smell the fragrances first so I can give you a more accurate description of them. This fragrance, Gisada Ambassador, the first initial smell I get from it, like right now, as I open the lid, it smells like gummy worms or gummy candy. However, I can tell you right now, this scent is pretty much a clone of Dior Sauvage and Coach Platinum. So let's spray it, because may as well spray it to get a proper review of it. So yeah, the opening is very much like a candied candy worms, gummy bears. It's a very sweet, sugary, fruity type of smell in the opening. I do think the dry down smells pretty much exactly like Coach Platinum. So how is this different from Dior Sauvage clones? Okay, so this starts off very ambery, a little bit syrupy, sweet, fruity. It is almost like a like pineapple candy. No, pineapple flavored gummy worms. Okay, that's probably the horrible description. Okay, so it's an ambery sweetness. It's very sweet. I think I already know it's mango, so the sweet fruity smell is mango, but it's not a realistic mango that you would get in a lot of fragrances. So it's more of a candy ambery syrupy sweetness in the opening. Then the dry down, you do get that Dior Sauvage smell, which I'm not sure exactly what gives it that smell, but I did write down some notes, I think, in my computer. I said it smells like Coach Platinum and Dior Sauvage. So yes, it is very resinous, so I'm guessing there is resins in here. I think it smells more like pineapple than mango, but that's just my opinion. I do get more of a pineapple smell. Obviously, there is like something sweet, vanilla, which is obviously more noticeable in the dry down. If it's not vanilla, it's benzoin, some type of resin like that. There may even be some kind of candied note in there, sugar, something like that. So, yeah, let's talk a little bit more about Dior Sauvage. Dior Sauvage EDT is citrusy, peppery, ambroxan, a little bit of that licorice smell, but not too much, mainly more citrusy. And then you have Sauvage EDP, which is pretty much, they just amplify that licorice smell and then make it way sweeter with more vanilla. Then you have Sauvage Elixir, which obviously the main smell is the licorice in that, and then they've added more of a cola, like a cola type of smell. It ends up smelling a little bit more like Dr. Pepper. And then there's a lot more spices going on in Sauvage Elixir. It's more spicy, more sweet, way more intense smell. And then there is that little bit of freshness you do get in Elixir, which is like some people say shower gel. It's definitely not a shower gel fragrance, but there is that kind of fresh, weird smell in there as well. So this is closer towards Coach Platinum than Sauvage. And Coach Platinum, how is Coach Platinum different than Sauvage? I would just say it's a little bit creamier, a little bit more, has a velvety texture to it. So in Coach Platinum, I do get this really smooth, velvety texture. It is a little bit of like pink pepper. There is pineapple, cashmerean. It's a very creamy, smooth, sweeter version of Sauvage. So this pretty much is a fruity version of Sauvage. That's what I was going to say. If you had to take this is just the fruitier version of Sauvage. The opening is obviously quite different to Sauvage, but that dry down does get very, very similar. Do I think this is better than Sauvage? No, I think Sauvage EDT, being mainly citrusy fragrance, is going to be more mass appealing. This is just okay. I think my favorite is Coach Platinum, but I like this too, and I like Sauvage. I think just more people are going to be drawn towards that citrusy, fresher fragrance. Sauvage being the more citrusy, mass appealing, safer fragrance to wear. This ambery, resinous, syrupy, fruity version of Sauvage, it's nice, and that's pretty much all I can say about it without looking at the notes. So I could pull up the notes on Fragrantica quickly. Gisada Ambassador. So it is, like I said, tropical, fruity, woody. I probably should have talked a little bit more about what I could smell in there besides the fruit. So cardamom, apple, mango, black pepper, patchouli, peony, vanilla, vetiver, teakwood, moss, lavender. So yes, you can smell black pepper because that's a little bit of that pink pepper smell. It is a little bit of spice in there. Of course, Sauvage has that smell too. Vanilla, mango, apple, cardamom. I don't think I can smell cardamom in here. Or I can't really smell the flowers either. I just mainly smell vetiver, mango, black pepper, and vanilla and wood. Yeah, that's all I can smell. So next, we'll move on to the next fragrance without talking too long. Akro Bake. Okay, I'll just show you quickly. I don't know much about this fragrance because I haven't tried this yet, but I think the brand Akro is by Oliver Cresp. Not 100% sure. I just heard someone else say that, so I'm paraphrasing here. I think they did say Akro is the brand by Oliver Cresp, just like Alberto Marias has his own brand, Misencia. Okay, so let's see what this smells like. Whoa, that's a big spray. I did let my sister try this yesterday, and I let her try Lyra as well because Lyra and Bake get compared to each other. And I got her reaction before I smelt it myself, so I don't know what this smells like, but I just know I think it's by Oliver Cresp, and it's supposed to smell like Lyra by Xerjoff. And that is actually very spicy, spicier than I thought, but already I am getting some of that Lyra smell. Citrusy, spicy vanilla. It's this weird bitter. There's a bitterness in there. That bitterness is like some type of spice. I don't know if it's cinnamon, nutmeg. I don't want to say cloves. It might be cloves, but I think I don't usually like cloves in fragrance, so I don't think it's cloves. Maybe ginger, dried ginger, citrus, a little bit of cinnamon, vanilla. There's something in there that really smells like food. So as the name says, bake. That bitter smell, it may not be a spice actually. It could be some type of food note in there, like bread. It could be a bread accord in there, like wheat bread. It could be some type of grain or food. My sister said it smells like cake, a lemon pound cake. So it could be a cake type of note. I think it is peppery. I get this weird pepperiness to it. Yeah, I don't think it's better than Lyra. I think Lyra is definitely the more better smelling fragrance. I don't think it's better than Siesta Drive by Navitus. So far, that one just destroys all the other gourmands that I've smelled. Like Siesta Drive, it's probably my favorite gourmand fragrance ever. But this is nice. I do really like this. I think if you wore this, a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, you smell really good. I want to eat you." A lot of people would probably want to eat you and know what this smell is. This would be really good for like a candle. If you had your house smelling like this as a candle, wow, it'd be incredible. Your house would smell like you've been baking lemon cookies, lemon cake or something like that. I want to check the notes because I do think there is a some type of food note in there. Akro. That's weird. It says it's supposed to be lactonic. I don't think it's really a lactonic fragrance. Oh, okay. There is lemon zest, rum, whipped cream, praline, bourbon vanilla, and sugar. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. So praline is that food note, but I usually think praline smells a little bit different, more like Azaro Most Wanted or Navitus Lyric has more of that praline smell to me. I think the citrus I'm getting is lemon zest, like it says, zest. It is very zesty. It does smell a lot more like the rind of the lemon, not the juice of the lemon. It smells like the rind of the lemon. And this is like the perfect type of citrus to use in a fragrance. I think the lemon rind smells a lot better, pretty much. At least when you use it with food ingredients. Like in a gourmand style fragrance, the rind is probably the way to go. Thank God they didn't use orange because I don't like orange with like gourmand kind of smells. I think orange and gourmand kind of go a little bit gourmand. It doesn't really smell very good. I don't like orange in fragrances that much. So let's talk about the rum and the brown sugar because this is interesting. I was saying that peppery smell I get, that is the rum. Because what rum and pepper do is when I smell them, they kind of burn my nose up here. They burn my nose a little bit. And that burning sensation, I typically associate with alcohol, pepper, or like ambroxan, like some type of aldehydes like that. And now I say that, I do kind of smell a little bit of ambroxan in there. There's definitely like some ambroxan in here too. It's a good fragrance. I mean, let's see who the perfumer is. Does it say? Oliver Cresp is the perfumer. See, yeah, I think Oliver Cresp is one of the masters at doing sweet fragrances. So when it comes to sweet fragrances, I think Oliver Cresp can do no wrong. He's such a genius when it comes to fragrances. Like, definitely one of my favorite perfumers, at least in terms of all the fragrances he's made. Probably half of them are like in my top favorites. So really consistent perfumer. He knows his stuff, especially sweet fragrances. He's a master at. So that's 2 fragrances down. I do want to review something a little bit more not as hyped. So I think we'll do. Actually, I'll review 2 more hyped fragrances. May as well, right? So, Sand Dance by Stephanie Humbert Luca. This is hyped as well at the moment. Okay, hang on. So all I can say is Stephanie Humbert Luca is a very hyped house right now, getting all the love and attention from everyone. This fragrance, a lot of YouTubers have been talking about it, just probably not the YouTubers you know about. Mainly for me, it's the YouTubers here in Australia, some of the Australian YouTubers. They talked a little bit more about this one. So I was curious to smell it. And I don't even want to spray this because I've smelt it and I know I don't like it. So I'm going to spray this on the upper arm. Actually, I'll spray it on the upper arm, but I really don't like this fragrance. And I'll tell you why. Because it smells like Bentley for Men Intense. And I really hate Bentley for Men Intense, so I'm just going to pause this video for 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I just had a package delivery, so I had to pause the video. So, yeah, this smells like Bentley for Men Intense. I definitely get that very strong alcoholic smell. This smells like an alcoholic man. A guy you do not want to be around because he stinks of alcohol, reeks of alcohol. It's just a very unattractive scent, in my opinion. It's got that old drunk guy that's like, hey, bro. Guy that can't even talk. He's drunk. He's like off his head. That's the kind of vibe I get from this fragrance. It's not attractive. Bentley for Men Intense, same thing. Just drunk guy at a pub. Gross fragrance. So anyway, what's the ingredients? It's whiskey or rum, one of those alcohols. It's definitely vanilla in there, but it's the same type of gross vanilla I get in Dior fragrances. Dior Vanilla Diorama, Tabacula, Delicious. They've got this disgusting type of vanilla in Dior fragrances that I just don't like, and maybe Tom Ford uses a little bit of that too. I don't really like it. It's that gross vanilla. So, vanilla, alcohol. I did write down some more notes. I said bitter, earthy, some type of resins in there. So, I do think frankincense, myrrh, maybe, yeah, frankincense or myrrh. It's definitely got one of those dusty, musky resins. The dusty type of earthy resin that just smells gross. Frankincense or myrrh. I know it's got cacao in here because that was one of the main reasons I wanted to try this, because of cacao. It's a pretty bitter cacao, honestly. Bitter, nasty. Yeah, I did say maybe benzoin in there as well, more of that resinous sweetness. Benzoin, whiskey, earthy, bitter, cacao. Then you get that frankincense, myrrh, dusty church kind of smell. I don't like it, guys, so I don't want to talk too much about this. I'll just tell you it is disgusting. So, in my opinion, I would say don't buy it. But it is hyped. A lot of people like it. If you like Bentley for Men Intense, you might like this. It's not my style. So yeah, it's a no from me, guys. I don't really like this. So let's move on to the next fragrance. It's by Mind Games, and it's called Blockade. Blockade by Mind Games. So this Mind Games house is kind of like creeping up on the radar now because of Bowtie Fragrance Guy. Sorry. Bowtie Fragrance Guy has hyped this house up a lot. Pretty much every one of his videos now, he's putting out a Mind Games fragrance in his videos. I'm not sure if he's paid to hype the fragrances or whatever, but I want to smell them. I do think he knows a lot about fragrances, and I think when it comes to YouTubers, he's probably the best fragrance YouTuber right now. With the best taste in fragrances, I find a lot of his fragrances are actually really good smelling ones he recommends. So I wanted to try this one because he recommends this house a lot, and I was not disappointed, guys. I actually think this lives up to the hype. Blockade, it's an Aventus clone. I didn't know that when I first tried it. I didn't know it was an Aventus clone. But I am not disappointed because you can't really go wrong with an Aventus clone. But at this point, I just think it's so overdone that you have to do something different with Aventus style DNA now. It has to be different. Otherwise, there's just no point even making it. And I do think this is a little different. To me, this is more fruity. So when it comes to pineapple, this has a really good pineapple fruity smell compared to a lot of the other Aventus clones. This does that pineapple fruity smell very, very well. But what does my sister think? She did not like it. My sister said, this smells like a cheap kid's spray. She said it smelled like a kid's body spray, like a cheap spray or something like that. But to be fair, she didn't spray it on her skin. She only smelt it in a bottle like this. And I do think if you just smell like that, it's not the same thing. So I do think this is a fragrance that she could probably come around to eventually. It might grow on her. If she got smell it on skin, she might like it more. It is very fruity. Pineapple. It's incredible. Very tropical. Aventus clone, but not a smoky. I would have to say it takes quite a lot of the things out of Aventus. And you know what? I do think the pineapple is more closer to Hachivat by Nishane. So you may say it leans a little bit more towards Hachivat than Aventus, and I wouldn't argue with that, except Hachivat is very peppery and mossy in the dry down. This is not as peppery or mossy or even as creamy. This isn't as creamy. This is more tropical, fruity, not as mossy, not as peppery, but the dry down of this does get a lot more woody and peppery. So yes, it is some pepper in the dry down, but it's a very toned down clone of Aventus compared to a lot of the other ones, which are very heavy on the pepper. There's a million Aventus clones. A lot of them have tons of pink pepper in them, way too much. This, it's a nice balance of pepper, I actually think. I like this fragrance quite a lot. I think it is going to get you compliments. Definitely not a safe blind buy, but it is one I recommend you try. Because if you like Aventus, you do want to try this just because of how fruity it is. And I've heard Aventus is kind of like batch inconsistency. Some of the batches are really fruity of Aventus. Some of them you can't smell the fruit really that much. So this could be a good alternative to the people that want the fruity versions of Aventus. And you know what? Just because it is an Aventus style clone, I'm going to guess and say there's blackcurrant in there too. Because I get a little bit of that blackcurrant smell as well as the pineapple. So I'm going to check the notes. Just quickly for you. Blockade, Mind Games. Okay. So there is pink pepper and mango and bergamots. This also has cyclamen in it. So yes, I was supposed to mention that, but I didn't. This is actually a little bit more floral compared to Aventus Clones 2. And the floral is cyclamen. But I think it does have a little bit of a lotus smell. Cyclamen and lotus, I think, are pretty nice smelling florals. And they do work in men's fragrances. I think cyclamen and lotus you could totally pull off in a men's fragrance. This is a good example of how it just complements everything really well here. And the floral smell is pretty light. It's not heavy, dense florals or anything. It's a very light floral, very juicy fragrance. Only thing is, the notes say this has oud and star anise. Maybe if you spray a lot of this, you'll get that skanky oud smell. I'm not getting any oud personally, so that's a good thing. I'm not getting any oud. Maybe in the dry down you'll smell the oud. I can't really remember the dry down of this too much, but I don't remember ever smelling oud in the dry down. But the star anise, and there's suede in there. Leathery suede? No, I don't smell suede. But I know of some Aventus clones having leather or suede in them, so that might just help with that Aventus DNA kind of thing. The suede, leather, it's in Aventus clones. I think Mont Blanc Explorer and Cedrat Boise do have suede in them too. I don't get star anise, thank God, because I don't like star anise really that much. It smells like licorice, and I'm not a fan of licorice. So yeah, just basic Aventus clone. A lot less peppery, a lot more fruity, and it is fresh. So it is one of the fresh Aventus clones, not one of the sweet ones. So if you were thinking of like Intense Cedrat Boise or Nishani Hachavat or Electimus Imperium, those are more of the very sweeter clones. This is a little bit more fruity, fresh. Anyway, that's 4 fragrances, 1 to review left. Obviously there's more than one in the box here, so I'll pick one. You know what, I'll do Ellis Brooklyn Salt, because I think that's kind of, it's hyped by women only. I only really hear women talk about Ellis Brooklyn Salt. So maybe there's something from a man's perspective I can add to this fragrance. Let people know what I think about it. Okay, you probably know I don't like this fragrance, but I didn't want to spoil that for you. So I have smelt this fragrance, and I will just say, actually, my nose and my sister's nose are very different. But also, sometimes we smell the same things in the fragrance. And then sometimes she can offer me her opinion on a fragrance that I may not be smelling. And this is one of those fragrances where she actually picked out some stuff that I wasn't really smelling initially. So My sister said this smells like sea salt and driftwood candles that she has, and it absolutely does. She let me smell the candle. It smells like a driftwood and sea salt candle. That's the main smell of this, sea salt driftwood. But I think there's more to it. I think I get this like violet kind of smell in there. I don't know if it's violet or fig leaf, violet leaf maybe. I definitely do get like a violet smell in there. But there's something I really hate in this. I don't know if it is the salt that I hate. I don't know if it's. Well, I don't know what it is basically, but I'm gonna say it's an animalic smell. I don't know if it's something to do with how they get the marine smell in there, like seaweed, kelp. Um, there's something very animalic in here in the dry down only, and it reminds me of Interlude by Amouage or Interlude Black Iris, one of those by Amouage. It gets this really animalic ambergris smell. I call it. Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't really know what ambergris smells like, but I know what ambergris is, and it's supposed to be like the whale, the things that come from the whale, like the whale's vomit or something like that. But it is supposed to have like this animalic, musty type of oceanic smell to it. That's what I imagine ambergris to smell like. And it is a very funky smell that I get in here. That obviously is my nose only. This is just, it's one of those things that only I pick up on. So don't be afraid of that. You probably won't smell that. Only my nose can smell that weird smell. So it must be an association thing, something I'm associating with that smell. Salty, violets, driftwood, a little bit animalic ambergris in the dry down. It might be seaweed or something like that. A little bit marine, but it does take on a little bit of a weird smell. Overall, I know girls like this, so my sister doesn't hate it. She said it's okay. She didn't mind it. A lot of girls like this, so yes, for a girl, it is going to be more towards women, but completely unisex. I don't think this has a gender, this fragrance, because it's, besides the violet, there's nothing really feminine or masculine in there. But I will say I really like the opening in this. For the opening only, I like the opening. For the dry down, I don't like the dry down. But I have a feeling I may like it. I may have an acquired taste to it if I smell it more. Or I may just hate it more and more. So the more I smell it, I may hate it. So I wrote down some notes, I think somewhere. Green smell, yeah, okay. Oak moss or violet leaf was some green smell I was getting. Some soft floral note, which I thought was violets. And yeah, that's another thing, is the first time I smelled this, it really did make me feel sick. I got this like insane nausea, like just smelling it. I couldn't stand the smell, because every time I smell it, I just was like, it was just making me get like these waves of like nausea, like just the smell alone was just so animalic, just so disgusting. But the fragrance is not as bad as I'm describing right now. So yes, I'm saying all these things about it, but don't think of this as a really gross fragrance, because I would still wear this over Sand Dance. I think Sand Dance is actually disgusting. This smells pretty good most of the time, until you get that weird animalic smell. But yeah, pretty much sea salts, driftwood, a little bit of florals, violet, maybe jasmine or another type of white floral in there. I think a little bit mossy. There might be oak moss in there. Okay, can look at the notes, but I'm really trying to avoid doing that. So I'll pull up the notes anyway. Ellis, Brooklyn. Yeah, see, on Fragrantica, they even said animalic is one of the top accords on here. So maybe it's not just me. Other people are getting this animalic smell. And yeah, ambergris, musk, sandalwood, tiar flower, magnolia, violet, ylang ylang. So yes, very much heavy on the violet. And I was definitely smelling magnolia as that white floral smell. But I will say, I usually don't like florals, so I gotta admit the florals in this are pretty well done. For someone that's not a big fan of florals, I think they do florals really well in this fragrance. It is a really well balanced floral smell, not elderly, not heavy or dense. It's not cloying. It's a well balanced floral, and the animalic smell is too much. I just can't deal with that animalic smell. I don't know if it's salt, because you read all the reviews, everyone's like salty, salty, salty. Well, I'm not 100% sure what salt smells like, but it does have a little bit of that same smell as Blue Turquoise by Armani Privé and Xerjoff 40 Knots. And to me, I find them to be just more musky. So maybe it's that salty, musky smell you get in like Xerjoff 40 Knots and Armani's Blue Turquoise. If I had to compare it to two fragrances, those are definitely the two I would compare it to. Xerjoff 40 Knots, Armani Privé Blue Turquoise. I would say Blue Turquoise is the better of them three, but this is more feminine. It's a little bit more floral, so this is the better choice for women. 40 Knots is better for the more mature men. And if you're just a younger guy like myself, you may want to wear like Blue Turquoise by Armani Privé, because I think that is probably the more unisex one for the guys to wear, without being too musky. So anyway, I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry for the long video this time. I did talk a little bit longer than usual in this video, and just because I had to pause the video too, it's just going to go a little bit longer than usual. So thanks for watching. Have a good day. Peace out. Like and subscribe below, guys.